There are moments in life when you look around and feel as though everyone else received a map that you never got. People seem to move through familiar milestones, familiar conversations, familiar expectations, while you quietly carry the feeling that your path has never followed the same road. You may have spent years wondering why your experiences felt different, why your struggles seemed heavier, why your victories often happened in silence, and why the things that appeared easy for others required such deep endurance from you. This feeling can create a loneliness that is difficult to explain because it is not simply the absence of people. It is the feeling of standing in a crowded room while carrying a story nobody can fully see. It is the experience of smiling while carrying burdens that few people ever noticed. It is waking up each morning and feeling as though your life is unfolding according to a rhythm that most people around you do not understand. If this has been your experience, you are not alone in it. Many people who carry deep faith, deep sensitivity, and deep purpose often find themselves feeling as though they are living a different life from everyone around them. Not because they are better than anyone else, not because they are more important than anyone else, but because their journey has required them to grow through circumstances that changed them from the inside out. One of the reasons this feeling becomes so strong is that your life may have demanded maturity before you felt ready for it. While others were moving through seasons of ease, you may have been navigating loss. While others were building confidence through success, you may have been building resilience through disappointment. While others were receiving recognition, you may have been learning how to keep going without applause. These experiences create a different perspective. They shape the way you see people, the way you see relationships, the way you see yourself, and even the way you see God. Over time, you begin to notice that your priorities no longer match the priorities of many people around you. The conversations that excite others may leave you feeling empty. The goals that motivate others may not move your heart in the same way. The things that once seemed important begin to lose their grip on you. This can make you feel disconnected, but it can also be a sign of growth. Growth often changes what satisfies you. Growth often changes what you pursue. Growth often changes what you are willing to tolerate. The difficult part is that growth rarely comes with immediate understanding. Most people do not realize they are being transformed while it is happening. They only see the evidence years later when they look back and recognize how much they have changed. There may have been seasons when you felt forgotten, seasons when prayers seemed unanswered, seasons when it appeared that everyone else was moving forward while you remained stuck in the same place. Those seasons can leave deep emotional scars. They can create doubts about your worth. They can make you question whether your efforts matter. They can make you wonder whether your faith has meaning. Yet some of the most important work in your life may have happened during those hidden years. The years when nobody noticed your struggle. The years when nobody celebrated your perseverance. The years when nobody understood the battles you fought internally. Some of your greatest victories happened in silence when nobody was watching. Every time you chose kindness after being hurt, a victory happened. Every time you kept believing after disappointment, a victory happened. Every time you got out of bed carrying emotional exhaustion and continued moving forward, a victory happened. The world often measures success by visible achievements, but many of the most meaningful victories happen within the heart. They happen when a person refuses to become bitter. They happen when a person chooses hope despite uncertainty. They happen when a person continues to love despite experiencing rejection. If you feel as though you are living a different life, it may be because your journey has required a different kind of strength. You have learned lessons that cannot be taught in classrooms. You have gained wisdom through experiences that many people never see. You have discovered what it means to survive difficult seasons without losing your humanity. That kind of growth changes a person. It changes how you see the world. It changes what matters to you. It changes how deeply you feel the pain of others. Sometimes this creates another challenge. You begin to realize that very few people truly understand what you have carried. You may find yourself listening to conversations and recognizing that the depth of your experiences has given you a perspective that is difficult to communicate, not because others are incapable of understanding, but because certain lessons can only be learned through lived experience. The person who has walked through loneliness understands loneliness differently. The person who has endured heartbreak understands heartbreak differently. The person who has faced uncertainty and continued believing understands faith differently. This is one reason many chosen people feel as though they are living in a different reality. Their inner world has been shaped by experiences that transformed them in profound ways. Yet there is another side to this story. The very experiences that made you feel different may also be preparing you to become a source of strength for others. The compassion you carry often comes from pain. The wisdom you carry often comes from struggle. The patience you carry often comes from waiting. The understanding you carry often comes from wounds that healed slowly. Nothing you endured was meaningless. Not every battle you fought was in vain. Even the seasons that felt empty were shaping qualities within you that could not have been developed any other way. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. Your faith survived moments that would have caused many people to quit. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. There is a quiet strength within you that continued moving forward even when your heart felt tired. There is a resilience within you that survived storms you never expected to face. There is a depth within you that was formed through years of growth, reflection, and endurance. Sometimes people who are living a different life feel pressure to compare themselves with everyone around them. They look at timelines, achievements, relationships, careers, and accomplishments. They wonder why their journey appears slower or more complicated. Comparison can become a heavy burden because it convinces you that your story should look like someone else's story. Yet your story was never designed to unfold exactly like theirs. Different paths require different timing. Different purposes require different preparation. Different callings require different experiences. God often works quietly in places where human eyes cannot see. He sees the tears that nobody else noticed. He sees the prayers spoken in private. He sees the moments when you almost gave up but chose to continue. He sees the sacrifices that nobody applauded. He sees the courage required simply to keep moving forward. When you remember this, something begins to shift within you. You stop measuring your value by external recognition. You stop believing that your worth depends on how many people understand you. You stop waiting for universal approval before embracing who you are. You begin to recognize that your value has always existed, even during seasons when nobody acknowledged it. Your story has value even if it did not unfold the way you expected. Your life has meaning even if the road has been difficult. Your journey matters even if it has often felt lonely. There is a reason your heart continues searching for purpose. There is a reason you continue hoping despite disappointment. There is a reason you continue believing despite uncertainty. The same strength that carried you through your darkest days is still within you now. The same faith that survived previous storms is still alive. The same resilience that helped you endure difficult seasons is still growing stronger. Perhaps the reason you feel like you are living a different life is because you were never meant to build your identity around fitting in. Perhaps your path was always meant to teach you lessons that would deepen your character, strengthen your faith, and reveal the value that already existed within you. Perhaps the very things that made you feel isolated are the same things that will help you bring hope, encouragement, and understanding to others who feel alone. Your difficult seasons do not define your destiny. Your disappointments do not define your future. Your struggles do not determine your worth. The seasons that tested you were also shaping who you were becoming. Even now there may be growth happening that you cannot fully see. Even now healing may be taking place beneath the surface. Even now God may be preparing opportunities, relationships, and blessings that will arrive in the right season. The journey may not have been easy, but your endurance has meaning. Your faith has meaning. Your kindness has meaning. Your patience has meaning. Your story matters. And the life you have lived, different as it may feel, contains a depth, strength, and beauty that cannot always be recognized at first glance. If this message spoke to your heart and reminded you that your path still holds purpose, subscribe to the channel so you can continue receiving encouragement for your faith, healing, and personal growth. Sometimes the people who feel most different simply need reminders that they are not walking alone and that their story still carries tremendous value and hope. There are days when the difference you feel is not dramatic or obvious. It arrives quietly. It appears in ordinary moments when you realize that what matters to you is not what matters to many of the people around you. It appears when you find yourself thinking deeply about purpose, while others seem satisfied with distraction. It appears when your heart longs for meaning, while the world around you seems focused on appearances. It appears when you carry questions about growth, faith, healing, and direction, while others seem content, never looking beyond the surface. Over time, these moments accumulate. They become chapters. Those chapters become years. Eventually, you begin to feel as though you have been living in a different world entirely. This experience can be exhausting because it often comes with misunderstanding. People may look at your life and assume they know your story. They may see your silence and mistake it for weakness. They may see your distance and assume you are uninterested. They may see your caution and mistake it for fear. What they often fail to see are the experiences that shaped you. They do not see the disappointments that taught you wisdom. They do not see the betrayals that taught you discernment. They do not see the nights when you wrestled with doubt and uncertainty. They do not see the countless times you chose to continue moving forward despite carrying emotional weight that nobody else knew existed. One of the hardest realities for many chosen people is recognizing that not everyone will understand their journey. For years, you may have hoped that someone would finally see what you see. You may have hoped that someone would recognize the effort, the sacrifice, the endurance, and the quiet strength that carried you through difficult seasons. Sometimes that recognition comes. Sometimes it does not. Learning to continue your journey without depending on that recognition is one of the most powerful forms of growth a person can experience. The truth is that many of the most meaningful transformations happen in hidden places. Seeds grow beneath the soil long before anyone sees evidence of life. Foundations are built beneath the surface before anyone admires a structure. Character develops in private long before it becomes visible in public. The same is true for you. Some of the most important growth in your life may have happened in seasons when nothing appeared to be changing. While you worried about your future, God may have been strengthening your foundation. While you questioned your direction, He may have been developing qualities within you that would become essential later. While you felt delayed, He may have been protecting you from arriving somewhere before you were ready. Many people look back on difficult years and realize that what seemed like stagnation was actually preparation. What seemed like rejection was often redirection. What seemed like abandonment was often protection. This realization does not erase the pain of those experiences, but it gives them meaning. Meaning changes how we carry our memories. Meaning changes how we understand our struggles. Meaning helps transform suffering into wisdom. One reason chosen people often feel as though they are living a different life is because they have learned to value things that cannot be measured easily. They understand the importance of peace because they have experienced chaos. They understand the importance of faith because they have faced uncertainty. They understand the importance of genuine connection because they have experienced loneliness. They understand the importance of kindness because they know how deeply wounds can hurt. These lessons create a different perspective on life. They create priorities that are often invisible to the outside world. They also create a deeper appreciation for what truly matters. There may have been times when you felt frustrated watching others move ahead while your own progress seemed slow. You may have wondered why your path appeared more difficult. You may have questioned why opportunities seemed delayed. You may have wondered whether your efforts were accomplishing anything at all. Yet every season carries lessons. Every challenge carries growth. Every obstacle carries the potential to reveal strengths you did not know you possessed. The person you are today is not the same person you were years ago. The storms changed you. The waiting changed you. The disappointments changed you. The healing changed you. The prayers changed you. The lessons changed you. And although some of those changes came through painful experiences, many of them have become sources of strength that continue serving you today. There is a strength within you that kept moving forward, even on your darkest days. There is a courage within you that survived moments when giving up would have seemed easier. There is a resilience within you that was built through repetition, through persistence, and through faith. These qualities may not always receive recognition, but they remain incredibly valuable. In a world that often celebrates visibility, There is something remarkable about the person who develops depth. In a world that rewards appearances, there is something powerful about the person who develops character. In a world that chases constant approval, there is something rare about the person who learns to stand firmly in their identity. If you have spent years feeling different, it is important to remember that different does not mean broken. Different does not mean forgotten. Different does not mean less valuable. In many cases, different simply means that your experiences have shaped you in unique ways. It means your journey has taught you lessons that others may still be learning. It means your path has required forms of growth that cannot be rushed. There is often a temptation to view difficult seasons as evidence that something is wrong with us. We assume that if life feels hard, we must be failing. If progress feels slow, we must be doing something wrong. If we feel misunderstood, we must be unworthy. Yet life does not work that way. Some of the strongest people carry invisible scars. Some of the wisest people gained wisdom through painful experiences. Some of the most compassionate people developed compassion because they personally understand suffering. The very things you wish had never happened may have contributed to qualities that make you who you are today. This does not mean every painful experience was good. Pain is still painful. Loss is still loss. Disappointment is still disappointment. But growth often emerges from places we never expected. God has a remarkable ability to bring purpose from seasons that initially seem meaningless. He sees possibilities where we see limitations. He sees growth where we see frustration. He sees future strength where we see present weakness. You may not fully understand every chapter of your story yet. There may still be questions that remain unanswered. There may still be wounds that continue healing. There may still be dreams that have not unfolded. Yet none of those realities erase your value. You are worth far more than the moments that tried to make you feel small. You are worth far more than the opinions of people who failed to understand you. You are worth far more than the disappointments that attempted to convince you otherwise. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. The fact that you continue believing says more about your faith than you realize. The fact that you continue caring says more about your heart than you realize. Sometimes the greatest evidence of purpose is persistence. Sometimes the greatest evidence of growth is endurance. Sometimes the greatest evidence of faith is continuing forward when certainty is unavailable. If you feel as though you have been living a different life, perhaps it is because your journey has been preparing you for a different level of understanding. Perhaps it is because your experiences have been creating depth that cannot be developed any other way. Perhaps it is because God has been teaching you how to build your identity on something stronger than circumstances, stronger than approval, and stronger than temporary success. One day, many of the pieces that seem disconnected today may begin to make sense. One day you may look back and see how individual struggles contributed to larger growth. One day you may recognize how specific disappointments redirected you toward better opportunities. One day you may understand that even your lonely seasons contained valuable lessons that helped shape your future. Until then, remember this: God has not forgotten you. Your efforts matter. Your faith matters. Your kindness matters. Your endurance matters. Your story matters. Every step forward matters, even when progress feels invisible. Every act of perseverance matters, even when nobody notices. Every decision to keep believing matters, even when uncertainty remains. If these words encouraged your heart and reminded you that your journey still carries purpose, subscribe to the channel and continue walking alongside messages that strengthen faith, healing, resilience, and hope. Sometimes encouragement arrives exactly when it is needed most, and together we can keep moving forward with confidence that every season still has meaning. Perhaps the deepest reason many chosen people feel like they are living a different life is because they have spent years becoming someone they never expected to be. Life has a way of changing us slowly. The transformation rarely happens all at once. It happens through countless moments that seem ordinary while they are occurring. It happens through losses that teach gratitude. It happens through waiting seasons that teach patience. It happens through disappointments that teach resilience. It happens through heartbreaks that teach compassion. It happens through failures that teach humility. It happens through prayers whispered in quiet rooms when nobody else is listening. Looking back, You may realize that many of the things you once thought would define your life never happened the way you imagined. Certain relationships may have ended. Certain opportunities may have disappeared. Certain dreams may have taken far longer than expected. Certain plans may have completely changed direction. During those moments, it is easy to believe that something valuable has been lost forever. Yet life often reveals its meaning gradually. Many people discover years later that what felt like an ending was actually a beginning. What felt like a setback became preparation. What felt like a closed door redirected them towards something they never would have found otherwise. This does not mean the journey was easy. It does not mean the pain was imaginary. It simply means that God can create purpose even in seasons that seem confusing. If you have spent years feeling different from the people around you, you may have also spent years feeling misunderstood. There is a particular kind of loneliness that comes from carrying experiences others cannot fully comprehend. It is the loneliness of trying to explain why certain wounds affected you so deeply. It is the loneliness of carrying responsibilities that others never noticed. It is the loneliness of continuing to show kindness after experiencing disappointment. It is the loneliness of maintaining faith during seasons when answers seem absent. Yet hidden within that loneliness is something important. The experiences that made you feel different may have also developed extraordinary strength. You learned how to survive uncertainty. You learned how to keep going without guarantees. You learned how to continue believing when circumstances provided very little encouragement. These lessons are not small. They are evidence of growth that many people overlook because it cannot always be measured or displayed. One of the greatest challenges for people who feel different is accepting that their value does not depend on fitting in. For a long time, many people search for acceptance in places that were never designed to provide it. They try to become what others expect. They try to minimize parts of themselves. They try to hide their depth, their sensitivity, their faith, their dreams, or their uniqueness. Yet the more they hide who they are, the more disconnected they become from themselves. True peace often begins when a person stops fighting their own identity. It begins when they recognize that they do not need to apologize for caring deeply. They do not need to apologize for having faith. They do not need to apologize for wanting a meaningful life. They do not need to apologize for seeking purpose. They do not need to apologize for being shaped by experiences that changed them. You were never meant to become a copy of everyone around you. Your story has its own path. Your growth has its own timing. Your journey has its own lessons. Your purpose has its own direction. When you begin embracing this truth, something powerful happens. You stop seeing your differences as flaws. You begin seeing them as evidence of the unique journey you have traveled. You begin recognizing that the qualities you developed through hardship have value. Your patience has value. Your compassion has value. Your resilience has value. Your faith has value. Your endurance has value. The world often overlooks these qualities because they do not create immediate attention, yet they remain some of the most important qualities a person can possess. There may have been seasons when you questioned whether your sacrifices mattered. You may have wondered whether anyone noticed how hard you tried. You may have wondered whether your efforts were making any difference at all. The answer is that they mattered more than you realized. Every act of kindness mattered. Every moment of integrity mattered. Every choice to continue moving forward mattered. Every prayer mattered. Every step mattered. Growth is often invisible while it is happening. Trees spend years developing roots before they display their full strength. Character develops in similar ways. The deepest qualities within a person are often built long before anyone recognizes them. God sees this process clearly. He sees every moment of perseverance. He sees every sacrifice. He sees every disappointment that you carried. He sees every tear that nobody else noticed. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. He saw the moments when your heart felt heavy. He saw the moments when you questioned your future. He saw the moments when you wondered whether your story still mattered. Through all of it, He remained aware of your journey. Through all of it, He continued shaping your character. Through all of it, He continued working in ways that were often invisible to you. Sometimes people expect purpose to arrive through dramatic events. Sometimes they expect a sudden moment that explains everything. Occasionally that happens. More often, Purpose reveals itself through faithful daily living. It reveals itself through becoming the person you were meant to become. It reveals itself through learning to trust, to grow, to heal, and to continue moving forward despite uncertainty. The person you are becoming matters just as much as the destination you hope to reach. This is why your difficult seasons were not wasted. They contributed to your development. They strengthened qualities within you that may serve countless people throughout your life. Even if you never fully understand every reason behind every struggle, you can know that your experiences helped shape your strength. Not every battle you fought was in vain. Not every disappointment was meaningless. Not every delay was punishment. Some seasons existed to teach you things that could not be learned any other way. The wisdom you carry today was earned. The resilience you carry today was earned. The faith you carry today was earned. The compassion you carry today was earned. And because of that, your life now contains a depth that many people may never fully understand. If you sometimes feel like you are living a different life, remember that different does not mean alone. Across the world, there are people who understand the feeling of carrying hidden burdens. There are people who understand what it means to feel out of place. There are people who understand what it means to keep believing despite setbacks. There are people who understand what it means to continue walking forward when the path seems uncertain. You are part of a much larger story than you realize. Your experiences connect you with countless others who are learning the same lessons in different ways. More importantly, you are not walking through life without purpose. Your story still matters. Your future still matters. Your growth still matters. Your healing still matters. The chapters that remain unwritten still matter. There is hope ahead, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. There is value within you, even if others fail to recognize it. There is strength within you, even if you sometimes forget it is there. There is goodness within you that survived difficult seasons. There is faith within you that survived uncertainty. There is resilience within you that survived disappointment. And there is a future before you that has not yet revealed all it contains. Continue believing in the value of your journey. Continue honoring the lessons you have learned. Continue recognizing the strength that carried you this far. Continue trusting that difficult times do not define your destiny. The life you have lived may feel different from the lives around you, but that difference contains wisdom, depth, and purpose. It contains lessons that shaped your character. It contains experiences that strengthened your faith. It contains evidence that you have survived more than you often give yourself credit for. Most importantly, it contains proof that God has been present through every chapter, even the ones that felt lonely and confusing. If this message helped you feel seen, understood, and encouraged, subscribe to the channel so you can continue receiving reminders of your value, your purpose, and the strength that already exists within you. Together we can keep growing in faith, healing, resilience, and hope, remembering that no season is wasted and no sincere journey goes unseen.